Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Jets Radio. This is one of your hosts, Tyson Roush. Jam-packed show tonight. All kinds of chaos with this Jamal Adams trade. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Talk Jets Radio. YouTube, Let's Talk Jets Radio. If you want to hear us live, we're on Blog Talk. You can download us on Spreaker, iTunes, Podbean, Apple Play, Google Play, and probably all kinds of other places that I forgot and don't even know about. So, Mr. Primetime, I hope I sound okay. How you doing, man?
I'm not too well, man, and I blame myself for this situation. I apologize to the Jets fans. Last week I was too positive. I tried to give so many reasons for hope, and clearly the Jets heard that and said, not so fast, and we're just going to kick this thing down the road for a few more years. So, again, great job by Joe Douglas getting fair value. I'm not going to criticize him, but the fact that we just lost more talent and, we're looking 2, 3, 4 years down the line, it's just not a great day to be a Jets fan. So let's get into a show, man.
Oh. Dude, I'll say this. I was wrong on a couple fronts. I didn't think the Jets would get this package from the Seahawks. I was shocked. I was floored. And this entire process, I kept saying, this is a test for Joe Douglas. How is he going to handle it? This is his first big test. Is he going to cave? What is he going to do? Will he give him the contract? Will ownership get involved? And this, to me, ended up being the best-case scenario for the Jets because Jamal Adams clearly wanted out. He was burning every bridge possible. He's pissing off teammates. He did everything under the sun to get out of here, and the Jets actually got 2 first-round picks, a starting safety, and another pick. To me,
yeah.
It's like it's a horrible scenario. Listen, I understand what you're going to say, but I'm saying in terms of I didn't think they'd get this value, so I was wrong there. It was a big test for Joe Douglas. He got he held his ground, man. In a situation where he could have said, listen, you know what? We want max value. If we don't get it, we're going to keep him. They got max value, so I'm shocked there. Jamal got what he wanted. He got out of town to a winning team, which is good for you. And that's it. And it's just, it is what it is at this point. I understand what you're saying. If you have a criticism of this, it's just that you just traded away your best player. Your defense is not going to be as good, even though McDougal is a good player. And now it's like everybody's saying, oh, we got all these draft picks. The big thing now, we're going to be going through this rebuilding process again. We're going to build through the draft again like we did through it. We tried through with Idzik. We tried with McCagnon. And now Joe Douglas has the assets and resources, and he has to hit on them, and then we got to wait a couple years for them to pan out. So the impact of this Jamal Adams trade, like Seattle's getting the impact now. They're getting their guy this year. They're going to have him this year to get the impact. We're not going to get this impact for another 2-3 years. McDougal could be the starter this year. But the instant gratification of this isn't coming, dude. It's going to come like 2-3 years from now, and that sucks, dude. And you have the cap space for next year. But like for this year, it's like, all right, we got to embrace the rebuild again.
And that's what bothers me the most is that we're now looking again at least 2-3 years down the line because the first draft pick that we're going to get isn't until next year. The second first-round pick isn't until the year after that. So in 3 years, you're going to have one rookie and another guy that's in his second year. So Jamal Adams, his first year, he didn't really, he was a good player, but he wasn't a Pro Bowler. He wasn't an All-Pro. Second year, he finally made the Pro Bowl. So hopefully that's best case scenario for these picks, most likely late first rounders. So again, it's an opportunity, and I keep hearing it. It's a lottery ticket. It's unknown, and that's the problem. Yes, Great job, Joe Douglas. He got maximum value. Considering the situation, considering how things escalated to the point that they were at, yes, you almost had to deal Adams at this point. I get it. But if you listen to Mike Tannenbaum, he also made a great point that Adams pretty much just drew up the blueprint for how to get out of New York. So, you rip your owner, you rip your GM, you rip your head coach, and now you're in a great situation in Seattle. And the question I'll keep asking, if Adams is such a cancer, if he is such a fraud, like every Jet fan is claiming him to be, why did Seattle, a place with a good culture that has won a Super Bowl recently, why did they give up 2 first-round picks for him? If he is not the impact player that we've been saying he is, if he's not a game changer, if he's not all those things, if he's not a leader, why would they feel comfortable giving up 2 ones for him? And if they did, why don't the Jets need talent like that? That's what bothers me the most. Yes, we're in a great position to surround Sam with talent. That's awesome. But until those picks hit, claiming this is a victory is bullshit.
No, dude, listen, and I agree with you to a point, and it's just like, listen, and it's funny, like, the people, like, all these people with the I told you so's, it just makes no sense to me because Nobody told me back in March that Jamal Adams was going to go nuclear on this organization and torch everybody known to man. Like, I was on record saying I would have paid him. Like, I would have paid him in March. I would have paid him in April. A part of me thought this was kind of going to work itself out, like, over the last couple of weeks when he quieted down. But it didn't. And it's like, you're right. Seattle got an impact player.
Tyson, how badly must he have hated New York to be willing to play on his rookie contract in Seattle, but not here? How badly must things have been in that building for him to want out?
That's the thing, dude. That's the thing, and that's
what bothers me.
Thing that, and the thing that Joe Douglas keeps talking about, and now this is really Joe Douglas's first year. Last year was a complete waste. So this year he's trying to get. Now they're getting the whole. We're getting our guys in here, which you already know Gase coming back next year. When they start pulling bullshit lines out like that, we're finally getting our guys in here. It already gave me a headache. But this whole thing is Joe Douglas, if his job is to change the culture obviously isn't very good right now. So now you shipped out one of your emotional leaders on the field. And the one thing they have to keep something, listen, Jamal Adams could be a fraud off the field. He could be a social media diva, a pain in the ass, a loudmouth, all this. When the whistle blows, he's one of the best players on the field, and the guys play harder around him, and he's an impact player. That's a fact. That's why the Seahawks got him. So now you take that away, and now the culture players on our team are who? You're going to say, okay, it's C.J. Mosley. Hopefully it's Sam Darnold. Hopefully it's Le'Veon Bell for as long as he's here. But, now you're rebuilding your culture again. You need a new leader to emerge on defense. Hopefully it's Mosley. Hopefully he stays healthy. But now it's like the thing I walked away from the most with this is that, obviously he hated losing, but there's something else going on. And nobody wants to hear that. Everybody wants to say, oh, you guys are just Gase haters, this and that. But fine. Listen, we're going to find out because now this team is it's going to be a lot of, no-name guys that are, playing for playing time, playing for contracts, playing for this, playing for that. They may have a chip on the shoulder trying to prove everybody wrong, and you see what happens. But it's interesting, dude. It really is because, the expectations for this season, people were kind of saying 7 or 8 wins. You take away Jamal Adams, now you're looking at 5 or 6. That's just kind of the way I feel now.
No, and I completely agree with that. I think taking him away from this defense, you're obviously taking a major step back in the short term, and you just hope that the draft picks hit so that in the long term, you don't feel the impact of it. But the Jets fan contingent right now that's beating their chest, while tossing Adams out the door, claiming they can easily replace him and that, we were a loser without him, like all these things. I heard those things, and I even said those things when the Jets traded Keyshawn and when they traded Revis. And guess what? Both of those players within 2-3 years, they were hoisting the Lombardi trophy while the Jets were doing shit.
But that that argument pisses me off for one reason. And now listen, I'm content with the trade because the argument pisses me off that whole the Jets suck with Jamal Adams. Well, the Jets offense sucks with Sam Darnold. So what does that mean? You know what I mean? So that the argument makes no fucking sense.
No, dude, I completely agree. And again, if this was a relationship, right? Jamal, he told us he was moving on. He's not happy anymore. And the Jet fans, instead of looking inward at the organization and why he might, have gotten to this point, they're just blaming they're pointing at him and saying, oh, it's you. You're the diva. You're the fraud. And I don't get that. It was the same, again, with Porzingis, if you want to even go more recently. The Knicks are a terribly run organization. Porzingis wanted out. And the second he was traded, Knicks fans hated him for giving up on them. And I think Jamal, he's reached the same point. He has no faith, no trust in this organization, and he wanted out. He wanted a fresh start. I hate the way he handled it. I have some anger directed towards him, absolutely, as a Jet fan. But as a person, I'm not. He doesn't owe the Jets shit. And if he doesn't want to be here anymore, again, like Tannenbaum said, he just showed the blueprint for how to get out of New York now, and that's a problem also.
Well, he did the same thing Beckham did. Beckham did the same thing with the Giants, man. I mean, it's like that's just kind of what it is. I agree. The blueprint's out there now, and now it's just you wonder what is the approach this team is going to take. How is this front office going to handle things? How is Gase going to handle things? And do you have faith in him? Obviously, everybody says that today. Everybody has faith in Gase today. Sam Darnold, they have to say this. Everybody has to be positive today. But now, going into the season, this team is going to be considered an underdog. They're going to be probably now the Patriots are all going to, I guess they're all taking the season off, but they're probably going to be, third in division? So it's interesting, man.
Yeah, and, again, just to be slightly positive, considering the circumstances and everything else, Douglas, he absolutely got the maximum value that he could have gotten for Jamal Adams. So, I'm excited to see what he could potentially build around Sam Darnold. It's just that until those picks hit, Idzik was in this exact same scenario also. He had 12 picks that 1 year, multiple firsts, and we walked away from it with nothing. You still have to hit on the draft picks, and until those picks hit and they give you the same kind of impact that Jamal did, if not a little bit more, then what exactly did we accomplish here? And that's my concern. We've been struggling for so long to find talent. We finally had a guy that exceeded expectations for his rookie contract. I thought deserved that extension. We've been talking about that for months, and it's just a shame that things had to get to this point. And now, again, we're looking 2-3 years down the line instead of the case I was trying to make last week that the Jets I thought could compete this year and possibly by next year, if a few things broke right, be a legitimate contender. But now I think this thing is well into the future as far as, the Jets being a legitimate contender and, being expected to compete.
And that's the thing that already bothered me. It's like, well, we know the expectations are now lessened, which sucks already. But then it's like, all right, how do you replace Jamal Adams this year? Bradley McDougald is good. He's a good in-the-box guy, veteran guy, very well respected. Brian Baldinger did a lot on him. You have Marcus May. He stays healthy. They're both interchangeable. They're both versatile. Ashton Davis has some speed. So you say, okay, it may be, stopping the run and pass coverage, they should be okay. But then can they pass rush? Because Jamal Adams last year was a lethal pass rusher. He was explosive off the edge, did a lot of things. How do you replace the stats? How do you replace the pass rush? The one positive is that it was done now where Greg Williams has all this time to kind of figure out new schemes, stuff like that. They didn't sign Marcus Golden. They didn't sign other players. Everson Griffin's still out there. They didn't sign, I just think the impact, you're taking away a big piece to this defense. How do you overcome that? And then it's like, okay, maybe you have to overcome that by playing a lot better on offense. You know what I mean? Now, I thought there was a lot of pressure on offense to begin with, but now if this defense is taking a step back, which I think it clearly is when you lose your best player, this offense has to get off their ass and be productive week one, and that's all you can do if you want to be competitive this year.
Yeah, and I don't think this should eliminate any excuses for Adam Gase, as far as the offense goes, as far as, how Sam looks this year. If the Jets are losing games because the defense has given up 30 points, that would be another story. But, if Sam is going out there and he still, isn't grasping the offense, or the offensive line is still having communication issues and we're still seeing the same problems from last year, Adam Gase should be held accountable from that. Losing Jamal Adams should not impact what the offense does this year. So, I guess that's the only way you can kind of look at it from that standpoint, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, overall, if you look at Joe Douglas, the Leonard Williams trade was brilliant. This trade, in terms of getting the return that he got, was phenomenal. I give him a lot of credit for it. He held his ground. They handled the press conferences, both of them, very well. They're like, listen, there's two sides to every story. Jamal has his side. Jets have their side. There's probably something that's believable in the middle. I think some of the red flags that are out there with the Jets are still there, but nobody wants to acknowledge them because everybody wants to just hate on Jamal, which is fine. But I think it's so unfortunate. A year ago this time, we were so excited about Jamal. He's an all-pro player on the team, and now he's gone. And it's like, okay, who is your face of the franchise? And now it's going to have to be Sam because there's really nobody else there. And you got to hope he flourishes and can handle all of it because now the spotlight's clearly on him.
It's all about Sam now, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not mad at that. But, you're also playing in the same conference as Pat Mahomes. And if you expect to get past the Chiefs or, make the playoffs, win in January, you need defense. Exactly. You want to compete with the Bills, you need defense. You're not just going to win putting up 40 points a game with Sam. I don't think that's going to happen. So, I wanted to see a roster top to bottom, that could get to that point and, just keep some of those young building blocks in place, start to actually build a foundation. And I thought Jamal was a foundational player, and I still feel that way, which is why Seattle gave up the 2-1s for him. You don't get that kind of value. I think there's been 8 players since the Jets traded Keyshawn that have netted 2 first-round picks. So if you're going to sit here and try to call in tonight and tell me that Jamal Adams isn't an impact player or he isn't a franchise player or something like that, I think you're crazy. I think he's every bit of that. And it's just unfortunate that things escalated to this point where there was pretty much no point of return, where you really couldn't give him the extension because he forced his way out of town.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm really happy about the compensation. I'm happy that there's not this distraction heading into training camp where it's just like everybody's gonna be asking the same question. Jamal could have been a complete distraction. The players get distracted. I'm glad the distraction is gone. I'm glad about the compensation. The only thing that makes me fucking nuts is just the thought that we're going to start preaching rebuild. And that's exactly what it is. Joe Douglas is being brought in here, and his mantra the entire time is build through the draft. Well, this is his first year doing it. This is his first draft. And now next year you have 2. So it's like you can see if this is going to be the pieces of the puzzle, we're waiting 2 or 3 more years. And as a person that's been a decade full of fucking losing, like you're like, oh my, like you see like there's 2 parts to this. I'm probably rambling, but I really don't give a shit at this point. There's 2 parts to this. There's parts is, okay, listen, I kind of have faith in Joe Douglas where he's going to bring in quality guys, versatile guys, high character guys. We're going to get the right players in the building to finally have a sustainable success for a long period of time. That's the cool thing. The bad thing is it may not be for a couple fucking years. And then it's like, Jesus Christ, like I can't take any more 5-11 seasons. Like and the problem with that, the biggest problem with all that is you're losing years of Sam's fucking his rookie contract. So by the time we're even remotely productive and competitive, he's due for a new contract. That's the worst thing out of all of this. Now, I'm not saying Jamal Adams being on the team this year makes you winning the AFC. You could maybe could have stuck in the AFC East picture a little bit, but now you know you're not. To me, honestly, I don't think they're the best team in the division. So it's like, do you want to sit through another 5-11, 6-10, maybe 2 years? Okay, now like that whole rebuilding word, because we've been doing it for so long, drives me batshit insane.
Mm-hmm. And again, Jamal is 24 years old. So my question is, how long should a rebuild take, especially when you have the quarterback position already solved? You don't have to go out and trade 2 first-round picks, look to move up and get your quarterback. No, that position is set for the next, hopefully, 10, 15 years. God willing, there's no, Sam Darnold contract issues in the future. That position is set. You're good to go at quarterback. Jamal's 24 years old. You have your linebacking core is one of the best in football. Your front 7, number 1 against the run in defense last year. You just added Becton, 11th overall pick at left tackle. You're getting some other guys back. Like, you have some players here. So my question, like, how long should a rebuild take, building through the draft? Now, granted, you have all these extra picks, but you just lost a foundational player. So the idea, like you just said, of, looking 2-3 years down the line, it fucking sucks because we've been down this road how many times over the last couple of years where we thought we were rebuilding the right way. And then, we're left with this, where we're doing it again, where we're trading away talent and trying to justify it with more hope in picks that we don't know how they're going to pan out. That's what bothers me. And I'll say it again for everyone that's going to say I'm too negative. I love the compensation like you do that we got back. That was maximum value. If you were going to trade Jamal, it had to be for 2 first-round picks. There were people calling in this show months ago saying, a first and a third, that'll be enough because he's not a real impact player. He's just a safety. Bullshit. 2 first-round picks was what you needed to get. So Joe Douglas, he gets plenty of credit for that. But now the true test starts. Now you have to hit on these picks to actually justify the trade being successful. So anybody that's claiming right now that this trade is a success and celebrating losing talent until you replace that talent, you're full of shit. You can't say that.
No, we won't know for 3 years. We won't know for 3 years what this trade is. We'll have no idea. Like you give him credit for the 2 first rounders, which is a jackpot. That you wish that happened prior to this year's draft, because then you can give Sam the receiver that we wanted this year. Like the timing of it is, horrendous. You wished it was this year. Like I hate waiting next year when you lose a player this year. Obviously Bradley McDougall, like I keep saying, he's a quality player. I understand that, but the timing of it sucks. We won't know the results for 3 years, and you got to hope he drafts well. You just got to pray, and then you got to hope he signs quality free agents. And you look, and it's like, and the one thing that people, you follow us on YouTube, Let's Talk Jets Radio. I've been getting attacked endlessly because I'm being negative. You look at the feedback from respected people of the supporting cast around Sam Darnold, Dan Orlovsky, Joe Banner, Louis Riddick. They're all saying, listen, Sam's in a terrible situation right now. Terrible situation. So now it's like, all right, we have another year. Like this trade happens in March. Maybe you get that Jerry Jeudy or Ruggs or whoever the hell it is, but you don't have that. So now you got to wait till next year to do that. Next year to find these building block pieces on offense. And that sucks too. So it's like this rebuilding process, we're legitimately like a year behind the Buffalo Bills, if not 2. And that sucks. And Miami's going to be hot on our heels now because they got Tua down there. Once he gets going, then you see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. If you were going to make the trade, this is why I thought that the contract negotiations should have started well before the draft. That way, if you got the sense that Jamal truly didn't want to be here anymore and, the contract was just, kind of to disguise all of that, then you know that right away and you can make the move and you can get help for the draft this year. And you could have gotten Sam, maybe that number 1 wideout, and still have that, first round pick in the future where you're not waiting 2 to 3 years for these guys. And that's what really bothers me. And hopefully it's not going to be an excuse for Adam Gase, like I said earlier, not performing this year, not getting the offense to perform, losing a player on your defense shouldn't impact the evaluation of Sam. but it just sucks, man. I'm excited for the future, but the short term, losing more talent, it's never fun, and we've been down this road before, and it hasn't ended well, and I've justified it before. So, I'm taking the same approach as a lot of other people, I think, and, 2 to 3 years, we can judge this trade and see if it was a success or not, but for right now, you got worse. McDougald's a good safety, but he is not Jamal Adams, so.
Yeah, I mean, like I told you, like we missed our calling, dude. Like 3 years ago, when I said we got to sell trust the process T-shirts, we could have been millionaires right now, because we are the leaders of rebuilding. The Jets, it's trust the process. We have a rebuilding plan. We're rebuilding. It's so built through the draft. You had make those 5 shirts, put them in green and white, and dude, we could both be retired right now, because it's the same thing every 3 years with every general manager. But now we got to hope that this guy actually knows what he's doing. Based on the trade compensation, he's off to a good start. He's got a lot to prove still, and we'll see what happens. So, prime time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on Mr. Tyrone. If you want to try to screen some of these calls real quick, so we got about 10, a lot of
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm on it.
I'll call some chaos, Tyrone, and I'll bring you back on. So,
all right, sounds good.
That's good. All right, you can... Mr. Tyrone, what's up, man?
Yo, what's going on, man?
How does my microphone sound okay, dude? 'Cause we're trying something different again tonight. Does it sound all right?
No, you sound good. You're probably both sound good.
All right,
both sound good.
Mr. Tyrone, we gave Joe Douglas credit for this trade because he got max value. He shocked the shit out of me and everybody else, I think. What is your take on this?
I feel the same way. I mean, I feel that, listen, I mean, nobody's happy about Jamal being traded. Nobody's happy about him. But to get 2 firsts, a third, and a player that can play, I'm not mad with that, Brian. This is what everybody's overlooking, man. Look, the kid didn't want to be here. So at the end of the day, he didn't want to be here. Then we come to find out this kid was out here, hollering at Dallas players trying to get Jerry Jones to come get him, bro. He shit on us in every way possible, man. So for everybody that wants to say that, we took a step back, we didn't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? You can't make him stay if he don't want to be here. He's going to be much more of a way bigger of a distraction than he would helping. So, there was no repairing that, bro. He didn't want to be here. He wanted to go to a team that's already made. That's what he wanted to do. So, for me, I think Joe Douglas playing.
But my question is this, and I agree he doesn't want to be here, and I agree that you had to get rid of him because he was going to be a monumental distraction, and the offer was too good to refuse. Are you concerned of the reasons why he didn't want to be here? What, he didn't have faith in the direction of his franchise? He didn't believe in the program. Does that bother you at all, or do you think he's just full of shit and he wanted out?
I just think it's bullshit that he wanted out. He wanted to go to a team that he knew was going to win right then. We're not a for sure commodity. Every team he picked, it was a winning team with a winning record. You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you pick that? You know what I'm saying? So why struggle to bring the Jets up in a couple of years when I could be there right now? He wants glory, man. So, I mean, it might be some truth to what he's saying. But at the end of the day, how can you believe what he's saying when that's the only reason he's done it? Bro, listen, man. I'm sorry. Anybody who believes that this kid didn't want out is stupid. He wanted out. He did whatever he took to get out. He's more concerned with his legacy. But let me ask let me ask you a question.
But here's a question. But no, I'm asking you a question because I'm all fired up, dude. I've been pissed off for 3 days now. So, but if this is the situation, did the New York Jets have this conversation in March and April? The timeline doesn't make sense to me. Because if Jamal knew this was the case and he wanted out, wouldn't he have this conversation in March and April with the Jets? Because they all acted like everything was great afterwards. I want to make Jamal a Jet for life. He tweets out he's happy. Everything's making progress. Then something changed. Listen, he acted like a complete jackass. I'll give him that. He went off the rails. But to me, something happened. So Joe Douglas gets credit for making this trade and getting rid of the distraction, getting compensation. But why not have this conversation in April or maybe for the draft? And get the compensation this year. Did that honest conversation happen? Jamal, do you want to fucking be here or not? Because if not, we'll get compensation now. Right?
True indeed. But I think the problem was, Tyson, they didn't give him a contract. I think that was the whole holdup. I think that, you know what I'm saying, they didn't give him a contract. They didn't give him what he wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Did they tell him in April that? Did they tell him in April, listen, man, we're not paying you this year?
Nah, they definitely didn't tell him that, bro. You know what? Tyson, that's when all that shit started. They might have told him in April, we got you next year. That might have been the whole issue. But whatever it was, wherever he's going to, but he's going to Seattle, he's not getting paid there. So it's you know what I'm saying. So that's the whole point. But the one thing I want to say is, let me ask you a question, Tyson. Are you a Jamal Adams fan or are you a Jet fan? That's what everybody needs to understand. You a diehard Jets? Exactly. Fuck Jamal Adams. That's how I feel. Like, bro, I'm being dead ass. Bro, I ripped this post off my wall.
But look, I'm not
doing the
trash.
trash.
But here's listen. Listen. Like, I don't. Like, I've been getting attacked for 2 days from people. Oh, you're taking the play over the team. I'm not taking the play over the team. But what I'm taking is we just, no matter if you like him or not, whatever, when the whistle blows, he's the best player on our team. He's now gone.
Absolutely.
So now this is and if we go back to shows over the last 6 months with all of us, we were all calling him a piece to the puzzle. I did 40 fucking interviews with fans. Every goddamn fan said to me, we got to extend Jamal Adams. He's got to stay here. He's our best player. Everybody said that. Every fan said the same thing. So now it's changed, and now we're not a better team today. And the problem is we're not going to be a better team due to this trade for another 3 years. We're not going to know what we're getting. Because next year you draft a kid, who knows? It takes him a year. Like, that takes another year to happen. So that's 2 more years. So there's no instant gratification out of this. So Joe Douglas gets credit for the trade, but we don't know what the return is on it yet. So now it's like we're doing the same rebuilding mantra we had under McCagnon. We're going to embrace now. Build around Sam, because we're not doing it correctly now. We got Becton great. But, it's just, to me, it's frustrating, dude. Like, I'm excited that he's gone, that we got the compensation, but I'm really frustrated because now I'm like, Christ, like, this is another building block we just lost.
We just lost a Pro Bowl player. So a player you're not going to be able to, you're never going to replace Jamal Adams. That's just what that is. And that's the problem that everyone is having. Listen, I've been on this show for weeks and months saying the same thing. Pay the man, pay the man, pay the man. It got to the point to where, man, there was no point of paying him because he didn't want to be here. So now that he's not here, you know what I'm saying, we have to move forward. Now, I'm going to say this right here. Jamal Adams has been a great player for us. And I'm not gonna sit on this show and degrade this man and say what his play on the field hasn't been truly tremendous. And what he's done for this organization in the 3 short years he was here, you know what I'm saying, can be replaced. I will say this, though. We didn't have a full C.J. Mosley, and we didn't have, you know what I'm saying, Avery Williams coming back this year. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to what we have right now because, to me, you know what I'm saying, losing a player like that, man, is going to be very difficult to replace. But I have enough faith in Greg Williams that he's going to put a decent defense out there. It's going to be not as good without Jamal, but it's still going to be a good defense regardless, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we have to look forward to. I mean, listen, we were thinking, Tyson, we might not get nothing but a third for Jamal. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I agree. Listen, I was completely wrong, dude. Like, I admit it. I was wrong. I did videos on it saying, listen, you know what? Jamal is painting such a picture that nobody's going to want him because we're losing all our leverage. That's why I'm giving Joe Douglas. I was completely wrong, dude. Joe Douglas, people were saying 2 first-round picks, and we said, listen, you get that offer, make the trade. We all agree. If somebody was saying, a third-round pick, I'm like, fuck it, make him come to camp. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? But 2 first-rounders, away he goes. And the thing is, like, the timing of it sucks where you wish it was before the draft so you can get the compensation. But it's like at least it's like a week before training camp or a few days before training camp where Greg Williams can try to start adjusting to it. That's the one positive. It's not like it's the 4th week of the preseason where you're like, oh, shit, now I got 3 days to figure it out. At least they have time to figure it out. So that's kind of the glimmer of hope. But it's just, you know, it's time. Like, you're just disappointed, man, because it's like you know the talent we just lost, and it sucks. And as a Jets fan, you say, okay, listen, how do you overcome it? You overcome it by Quinnen Williams emerging with a monster year this year, C.J. Mosley staying healthy all year, Avery Williams is on the team, he comes back, Marcus May staying healthy, you know, the new corners. Like, it's going to be a collective group now because now you lost your pass rusher, you lost your emotional and vocal leader on the field, and now he's an explosive playmaker. You got to find ways to make up for it. And I'll keep saying it, dude. The pressure, there's more and more pressure now on the offense. The defense can't hold their own. The offense, you got to be able to do something now. Like, they can't. Last year they got a pass, and now they're not going to get one this year.
But I'm going to give you this right here, Tyson, and you and Prime Time are both correct, man. You know, the one thing that sucks more than anything is you get no conversations this year. I don't care. You know, I'm happy we got 2 first-round picks. That's not going to help us this year. You know what I'm saying? You have a void that you're not going to be able to you know what I'm saying, to fix. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me. McDougal, he's going to be a good player. He had 70 tackles last year, a couple of interceptions, pass breakups. Good player, solid player, but it's not Jamal. So what you're basically getting, you're getting a half the production Jamal's going to give you. Basically what it comes down to, because he had 70 tackles, Jamal had 139 and 7 sacks. You know what I'm saying? That's a large thing to full. So, you know, getting the first round pick next year means nothing to a team this year. That's the one thing I understand why everybody's extremely frustrated about because it's not helping us now when we need help. But I also say this too, though. You know what I'm saying? This will be the time to go get Logan Ryan, and it's time to go get Clowney. Why not? Why not? You have Jamal money off the books. Go get something to help this defense. You just took away a major piece from this defense. Go get something that can help this defense. You know what I'm saying?
Or
I would love to see something like that.
Or take that first-round pick and get that pass rusher from Jacksonville.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Listen, bro, absolutely would be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Would be beautiful. That's how you turn this around, Joe Douglas. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? I feel you with this 20-year rebuild. But I will say this about Joe Douglas, man, and I don't know his plan. I'm not giving him a pass. I will say this, though. What I've seen from him so far, I'm comfortable with because I understand what he's trying to do. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's trying to make this team better. He's fixing it piece by piece. But just, you know, we're so used to having so much dysfunction and so much chaos and so much not having pieces.
Dude, and that's the thing. Like, and the problem that we have is, like, the stench, but it's a horrible stench from Idzik and McCagnon makes us sour on the GM because now we're like, we have to have faith in this guy now that he can draft well. And now what's mind-blowing to me is that everybody's already given credit for this draft class, and they haven't played a fucking snap yet.
They haven't even played a snap yet.
We haven't barely reported the camp yet, and we're already calling this draft class a success. So you got to let these guys play and see what we have.
They look good on videos, bro. They look good on cut-ups. I mean, I want to see some action. You know what I'm saying? And this is the funny part, right, man?
Coming.
Yeah, but listen, Tyson, the only part about that, bro, is I'm not looking for any one of these rookies to make an impact this year. I just can't. There's no OTAs. There's no, training camp's going to be crazy. It's going to be a brush through. No preseason, bro. The only person I think is going to be good is the punter, bro. That's the one guy I know that's going to produce.
Dude, if Becton's going, hold on, dude. I'm not even going down this path with you. If Becton's he's got to be a starter day one, and he's got to be able to hold his own, dude. He has to. He can't. Well, he has to be a solid contributor this year. We can't have a wash season out of him.
I don't think it'll be a wash. I think it'll be an adjustment to a whole different level of football. I think his mentality is his strongest point. I think this kid is just a monster, man, and he's going to play like that. So you're going to see effort every play, and that's what we really need from him. You know what I'm saying? I think with his length and he really has really good feet. You can say he played basketball, man. He has really, really good feet. So he'll be able to recover, and he's long as hell, bro. So he's going to be okay, man. I think the line's going to be okay this year. And I think, like I said, I've been saying this right now, and I hope you hold me to this, man. I'm telling you right now, I think Le'Veon's going to have a good season. I think Sam's going to have an amazing season. I think that we're going to be a lot better than people are giving us credit for, even with the loss of Jamal. I just feel that it's going to be a better team. You know what I'm saying? Now, at the end of the day, when you lose somebody like him, you know what I'm saying, as a fan, you know what I'm saying, you just feel defeated and deflated because you lost a player of that caliber, man. You know, that's a Pro Bowl player. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you lost a player, and you're not getting. Like, if you lose Jamal in March and April and then you draft players that are, like, the compensation like this year, it kind of offsets you. Like, oh, we got Judy and we got whatever. Like, all right, like, you can kind of ignore it. Now it's like we lost it. You know what I mean? We lost it, but now we're waiting until next year to get the compensation. I mean, I'm not discounting McDougal, but I'm just saying. So, Tyrone, what we got to do is we got to go to calls, dude, because we have a gazillion people on hold. So we're going to go to Brian in Newburgh. Brian, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? How's everything going, man?
Well, never a dull moment with the Jets, man.
I knew that when I was watching them, and they had one win in the season, and they were losing to the Arizona Cardinals, and I was just going for the green team back in the early '90s, late '80s. That's what I knew. So, yeah, I'm gonna play devil's advocate for 2 seconds. I know you got a lot of calls, so I'm gonna hit it and run and let you guys do your thing.
All right, let's go.
First things first is this. Did Jamal Adams handle it? Not the best way you probably should have, absolutely. But two things I want to point out. He always said that he was a man of his word, and he was very outspoken, and he's always told the truth. He was honest about everything and upfront. How come in the beginning you didn't say that you just didn't want to play for Adam Gase? Now it comes out. Why don't you just say that in the beginning, man? Like, waste nobody's time. Just let us know. Yep. On the other end, though, Joe Douglas, don't tell me that out of the blue, 2 first-rounders and a third-rounder and a safety just dropped onto your desk out of nowhere. Come on now. That was set up. That was ready to roll. Okay, that wasn't anything that we've been working on it. A little bit of work has been done before that too, and a little bit under the table. All right, so ain't nobody honest in this. Okay, this is strictly business. This guy doesn't want to be in New York. Ship him off. We got other shit to tend to. Okay, you don't want to be here? Absolutely. That's cool. Guess what? Defensive coordinator did it without Mosley and without Williamson. Okay? We got those two guys back. We can do it without you. We can lose without you. We don't need you. We got this.
But then have that conversation in April. Have that conversation in March. Have that conversation before the draft, and make it honest and blunt. Like, listen, dude, are you in or you're out? If you're out, you're gone. We'll make it happen.
Right. I wish it would have went a lot smoother, but and you could tell that it was starting to actually come up even more. Do I think he's a great player? He is one of a kind. You will never find another Jamal Adams. It's not going to happen. Nope. He's a one-of-a-kind player. Does he deserve the money? Absolutely, he deserves the money. This is where devil's advocate comes into play. And you start to think to yourself, you're like, all right, well, how come the Jets aren't playing him? All right, how come they're not paying him? Well, think about it. Have they ever done anything right financially? Not really. I mean, I'm just being honest because I'm a true fan. You know what I'm saying?
It's true, dude.
When every single guy that we sent out or we traded out ended up being a big baby. Keyshawn Johnson cried in, Tampa Bay when he wasn't getting the ball when he was down there. You know what I mean? Revis held out. He was always worth the money, though. I'll say that. You know what I mean? And look at this, another crybaby. He's even crying about being up at 7 a.m. to catch a flight over to Seattle. Sorry, bro. They got to work. They need you over there now. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? So
you know what's
up, buddy?
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? And I'll say this, man. You're killing it tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say this right here, man. Like at the end of the day, as a Jet fan, man, we already know chaos, man. And this is the one thing that we want to get past is moving past this, man. You get tired of the same thing happening over again. You lose a superstar. I mean, to me, losing Revis when Revis came back, I was happy, but losing the first time, it hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I'm asking this one question, bro. So how do you feel right now? Do you think that we can get past this? Is our defense going to drop from not having – our defense is definitely going to drop this year, but are we still going to be able to survive without him?
Yes, because if he can find a scheme without, like I said, without Williamson and without Mosley and still come in first, second in the run, that's exactly where those guys played, in those linebacking positions, okay? A guy who was excellent at blitzing and excellent at coverage, okay? If you can do that with those two guys gone, you can do it with one guy gone. Now, I know he's a great talent, amazing talent, one of a kind. He might actually, and it hurts to say this, he might actually make the Hall of Fame if he keeps his head on straight. But on the same end,
true.
I think just because of our defense coordinator, if it was anybody else, I would say you're absolutely right, we're going to drop. I don't think we're going to drop as far as people think. We may decline a bit, but we have a genius in that part.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
Brian, thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
All right, we're going to go to John in Atlanta. Sorry, there's a lot of calls here. John, what's up, man?
What's going on, John?
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
How's everybody?
What's your thoughts, man? We're fired up, man. What's your thoughts on the trade?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm listening
John,
to y'all, and I'm like, yo, that's true. I'm over here talking with y'all. I'm like, here's my thoughts. Great, dip his ass out. He's talking about he's a president, how he wants to be here. He recruited Mosley and Bell, and all of a sudden a year later he dumps them on our table and fucking takes a flight out to Seattle because he don't want to be here. Fuck him. McDougal coming in, yes, he's a B. Adams is an A. Our defense isn't going to struggle that much because, like the caller before said, we got Mosley, we got Williamson coming back. So
absolutely.
John,
I got a question for you, John.
Wait, Tyrone, I got to ramble because I've been thinking about this for like a couple of days now since I heard the trade. Right? We got better corners than what we had last year with Tremaine Johnson and Darryl Roberts. So that's going to be better right there. We had less as linebackers last year than with Jamal on the field, so that's a bonus right there. About rebuilding, yes, we've been rebuilding for years, but we also had trash-ass GMs that couldn't do anything. So everybody just got to give Joe Douglas his props for making the trade and just give it some time and let it pan out.
Yeah, but see, John, listen,
Absolutely.
Tyron, I'm sorry. I gotta cut you off now. I'm sorry, because listen, I respect it. Like, I understand that Joe Douglas is going to get his draft picks and going to build through the draft, but the word patience after this last decade of shitty football, it's tough to swallow sometimes. It's just tough, man. Like, and I'm not like, it's just like, listen, like we're excited. Like, once the season kicks off, I'm gonna be excited. You hope you get some surprises. They make a run. They win 9 games. They sneak into the playoffs. You hope for all that. But when the notion around the team is they're amongst the bottom of the league in talent, they're not expected to really win much. You know, you're looking towards the future. At some point, you get frustrated, man. At some point, you're like, God damn it! Like, you want to be where the Bills are right now, where you feel like they're going. Like, the Bills are going in the right direction. The Jets are still to be determined. Like, we're not like, our blueprint's still being written right now.
Tyson, I got a question. We've been preaching patience since when? Isaac and McCagnon, correct?
Christ, yeah, true.
Right. So Joe Douglas has been on the job for less than a year. He literally did nothing but sit back and watch for his first year, correct?
Which is
so
ridiculous.
We can't
That's true.
Say we don't owe him patience because he really hasn't done nothing. This is his first draft. This is his first.
Patience. Like, he's earned it. Like, I grant it, but like what the problem is I give him patience, but the anger that I have towards all this shit that happened with McCagnon and Idzik is hard to overcome. Like, John, be honest. Like, what are your honest expectations this season? What do you expect out of this team this season?
I just want to be competitive. When it's all said and done, get as many wins as you can, but be competitive in every game. Go out there. Don't have games like the Bengals game or the Dolphins game where you just don't seem like y'all didn't get off the plane and y'all just don't give a fuck and y'all just collecting the paycheck. I want competitiveness. That's all I'm looking for. And from there, you can build on that because guess what? Free agent's going to say, you know what? Yeah, they haven't won, but guess what? They play hard every game. They are in every game. This is an organization that's on the rise.
John, hold on, John. Everybody's preaching patience, right?
Hello?
I'm gonna say this right here, man.
You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
I think over and over again. I think we've been patient, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I like what Joe Douglas has done thus far. I mean, he fixed our offensive line, something that we haven't done in just the Brickenshaw Ferguson, bro. You know how long that's been since we drafted the offensive line? Exactly. Maybe, but it's a possibility it was better than last year. This is what everybody's not looking at, man. We are a better team last year at this point than we are right. I mean, we're a better team this year than we were last year. And it's going to take a process. I mean, the problem is everyone is sick of the process. That's the problem. We're all sick of losing. We're all sick of changing GMs and changing head coaches. We're sick of that process and not winning. That's the issue. But I will say this, though, man. We're a better team.
Yes, I agree. We have to be patient with the current GM. I'm not patient with Gase at all. I didn't like his play calling last year. He is like on the last straw that broke the camel back in my eyes, to be completely honest with you. But as far as the GM goes, we have to give him patience because he has proven through his actions that he deserves the patience that we gave everybody else who didn't deserve it.
Yeah, but John, I got a question for you. And not because of this, I'm all fired up tonight. I can't help myself. Now, we can be patient with Joe. We can be patient with Joe Douglas. I'm not going to be patient with Adam Gase because I want to see, like you said, you want to see a competitive team, a prepared team. You want to see intelligent game plans, and you want to see no goddamn excuses. Like, listen, I know there's going to be some challenges early on with getting everybody on the same page and the offensive line and everything else. But listen, you got to find a way. Like, you got to just show us that you're the legitimate leader of this team and you can get these guys to play. Because if I hear one goddamn time how they beat the Buffalo Bills the last game of the season and they ended 6-2 and all that, I don't care about that. Win games when they matter. When the season's on the line, they lost to the Bengals last year. A winless team. Like, in a big spot, they lost last year every time. Yeah.
Miami
lost last year. He can win.
Hey, Tyson, I got a question. What is Bill Parcells' most infamous quote? You are what your records say you are. Am I correct?
Says you are. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So in the first half of the season, we was trash. We was 1-7. So yes, 6-2. Everybody going to hype it up, say we were 6-2, but it was the easiest part of the schedule. But guess what? Just like but if anybody that plays sports says, hey, you play the people that's on your schedule. You can't say, oh, yeah, they trash, and, oh, yeah, but y'all should have beat them, but y'all didn't beat them, but y'all beat this team, but they're the lowest. They're on your schedule. You beat the team that you're supposed to beat. Fine and then. In my eyes, I kind of give Gase pass, but I don't, and this is why. Cause
he don't get no pass, bro. He's not getting no pass. He's not getting no pass, bro.
Listen to me.
No, bro.
Tyrone, listen to me. Tyrone, listen to me before you jump down my throat right quick. Just listen. I'm giving him sort of a pass because he didn't have shit last year. He didn't have a wide receiving core. He didn't have an offensive line. He had nothing. That's why I'm giving Bell the same pass as last year. So this year, no excuses.
He had Le'Veon last year.
You got, huh?
He had Le'Veon last year.
Yeah,
Le'Veon Bell last
you
year.
didn't have an offense.
Best running back in the league.
But you didn't have an offensive line. So what can Le'Veon do when Darnold is handing the ball off and you got a defensive tackle in Bell face?
All right,
John,
so then based on your point of view, this year he has no excuses because now it's year 2 of Le'Veon, knows the offense. Year 2 of Sam Darnold knows the offense and an improved offensive line.
No excuse.
Fair enough. Cool.
So
John, thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
I'm looking for a top 10 to top 15 offense, and our defense
10.
is. I'm going to say.
What?
Yeah, I'm. This is what I'm looking for. What I'm hoping for. I could hope to win a lottery, but I'm hoping for a top 10 to top 15, and just move from there. You got to build, and it's hard to build from the bottom when you're the 31st ranked offense in the league. There ain't nowhere to go but up.
John, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, boy. Love you,
Yo,
John.
have
Be
a
good,
good
big
night.
homie. All right, too, bro.
All right. So
I ain't giving Gase no pass, bro.
No. Listen. The excuse book from last year has been rewritten, and over. This year, I have some leniency with the offensive line getting caught up to speed. Then you have the 2 new receivers, but he's got to maximize Bell. He's got to maximize Sam. There's certain things that has to happen this year, dude. We can't keep expecting less and settling for less. Okay, this is cool. We're going to suck this year. We went from 31 to 28th in offense. This is great progress. No, dude. We got to catch up with the rest of the NFL at some point.
Absolutely. It's no more excuses for him, man. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I didn't give them excuses for last year, bro. I'm sorry. You had Le'Veon Bell last year, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't make any adjustments on your offensive line, none.
Sucked last year, man. It was a disaster last year.
Exactly, but you're the head coach, and you don't make any adjustments, bro. You don't put anybody on that side. You don't change your play calls. You don't say you're trying to throw these deep out routes that you can't do because Sam doesn't have time. That's leadership. That's coaching, man. That's coaching 101. If Sam, okay, why am I going to? Oh, hey, Robbie, you run a go route, but Sam, you got 2 seconds to figure. Come on, bro, that's ridiculous, man. No, that's bad coaching. He's not a good coach, and this is the issue. There's no fixing him.
This year he gets to prove it. He can prove it this year. He can prove what he's worth.
Prove he's a bad coach? Shit, Tyson.
No, listen, Matt.
He don't have to prove he's a bad coach.
Tyrone, he got a chance to prove us all wrong this year. I'm not going to go into bashing Gase because then we're going to get more hate email. I'm tired of getting the hate email. So Gase has a chance to prove us all wrong this year. He got rid of the problem, whichever was Jamal Adams. These are all supposedly, quote unquote, their guys, the kind of guys they want. Let's see what they can do with them now. So we're going to go to, first of all, we're going to bring Primetime back on. Primetime, what are your thoughts on these calls, man?
Well, hold on. I think I might have been having some audio issues. Did I hear Tyrone say that we're a better team right now? I just want to make sure I didn't hear that.
Hold on, Primetime. You ain't coming for me tonight, big fella. But look, I said was this though. We are a better team. I'm not talking about with Jamal. We are a better team than we were last year with the players that we had last year and the way that everything was set up last year. What Joe Douglas has done, he's improved us from last year. Yes, he did.
That's a tough one because even if all of the ifs that we're talking about between, Mosley coming back, Avery Williamson, Quinnen taking the next step in year 2, Perriman being able to fill the shoes of Robbie Anderson, even if all of those ifs exceed expectations, what is the ceiling for this team right now? 8 wins? 9 wins? So I'm trying to imagine it from the other side. If we didn't trade one of our best players and those ifs all came true, couldn't an argument be made that we would be a playoff team?
I mean, absolutely. Listen, prime time. Listen, I can't even justify
Playoffs?
losing Jamal.
Playoffs?
I can't justify losing Jamal. But actually, just look at it. What if Jamal had got hurt during the season? So I'm saying this is a 9-win team or
what
a
if he got
9-win
hurt
team
during the
regardless.
season?
This team should win. This team should win 9 games. But if you're sitting there telling me Joe Douglas has improved this team without saying Jamal factoring him in, yes, he has. In very many ways. The offensive line is way better than last year. I know we haven't seen these guys play, but they're better.
That's the problem. We improved other areas, but now we just subtracted another piece, a very important piece. So how do you weigh what you lost versus what you gained?
Well, listen, prime time. This is true. I truly understand what you're saying. You fix nothing about subtraction, right? But at the end of the day, he didn't want to be here. You can't make him stay here. He didn't want to be here. So at the end of the day, what had to be done was done. So now we got to figure out what we have left. You know what I'm saying? To me, getting a healthy Mosley back, getting a healthy Avery Williams back. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that can replace Jamal. There's one player on this team that can replace Jamal. What I'm saying is going to take a group effort. Everybody has to hit. But I'm just saying that we're not going to just automatically be the worst defense in the league just because Jamal is gone. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all. Trust me. I'm not going to make any excuse about him being gone because you to lose a player like that, bro, you lose a lot losing a player like that. But at the same time, man, I still think that we are still a solid defense with or without Jamal.
See, I disagree with that. But what we're going to do is I'm going to let you guys, you're going to talk to Michael in New York. You in prime time. Michael, what's up, man?
Hello, how you doing?
What's going on, Mike?
What's going on, Mike?
Hello? I'm okay.
What's going on, bro?
Fired up. I gotta be honest with you guys. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not excited about this trade as everybody else.
I agree with you, man. What do you dislike about it the most? I mean, is it losing the impact player right away, or just like the unknown of the draft picks? What has you upset about the trade?
My problem is we're not going to win this year, and the problem that I'm having is we're wasting Sam Darnold rookie contract. And we're praising Joe Douglas for getting 2 first-round picks. To me, that says more about Jamal Adams than it does Joe Douglas. Listen, if I'm a GM and I get 2 first-round picks for Aaron Donald, I mean, does that make me a great GM? Or Aaron Donald is that good, he warrants 2 first-round picks. Jamal Adams is that good, he warrants 2 first-round picks. You understand what I'm saying? That doesn't tell me anything. Go ahead.
Well, Jamal brought down the value of his trade value. That was the issue. That's the reason why this came out to be such a good trade. I mean, no one expected us to be able to get a first and a third. That was the whole problem. Jamal created so much headache and grief.
Yeah, but Tyrone, my thing is this, Tyrone. If we have a player on our team that called out the organization, but the Seattle Seahawks said, yeah, I know he did all that, but he's still that good. We still want him. To me, it says more about the player around you, Jamal Adams, than it do Joe Douglas. Listen, if like I say, if the Rams get 2 first round for Donald, it's Aaron Donald. You know what I mean? It doesn't make the GM look good.
Tyrone, I 100% get what Mike is saying here. The fact that Seattle was willing to give up those 2 number 1s, they saw enough to say, you know what? He's not a fraud. He's not a fake leader. He was in a terrible situation with bad ownership, head coach, whatever else was going on in that building. He was in a terrible situation that he needed to get out of, and he no longer had any trust or faith in that organization to get it right. He was tired of losing. He needed a change of scenery. The player, they have no issue with. The fact that they were willing to give up 2 1s, and he is only the 8th player since 2000 when we traded Keyshawn to net 2 first-round picks in a trade, that tells you all you need to know about his talent level. And the fact that we were willing to trade him, again, at this point where things escalated to, yes, you had to trade him. But months ago, it wasn't like this months ago. So you could have had those communications. You could have had those contract talks. You could have gotten things on the same page. But the fact that you allowed it to escalate to this, and now he had to go. That's what bothers me. That's what drives me nuts because it's an unknown. Draft picks are unknowns. Jamal was unknown, and he was 24 years old. Go ahead.
Absolutely, prime time. No, great point. And I agree with you in every facet of that. My problem is this, though, in the call as well. Let me say something, man. Listen, I am not knocking Jamal's talent. We know he's he's a once-in-a-lifetime player. The problem is, man, is we have a bad organization. We understand this. This has been the same problem we've had since the beginning of time, man. We have not had stability in the front office and coaching since we've been here, man. You know what I'm saying? We had a good GM in Tannenbaum, bad coach. Then we get Rex, bad GM. You know what I'm saying? This has been an ongoing process for us since the beginning of this whole thing. But what I want to ask you is this, man. What do you guys think that the next move should be with Jamal being gone? I mean, Jamal's gone now. So what do we do next? That's my question.
This is not going to be a popular opinion, and I'm probably going to get some heat for saying this, but we still don't know what we got in Sam Darnold. Listen, some days Sam Darnold look like he could be a top 10, a top 5 quarterback, and then some days Sam Darnold look absolutely terrible, seeing ghosts, throwing 5 interceptions. We don't know. We love Sam Darnold. What we do as a fan base, we protect him.
You just brought up an excellent point and something. No, you just brought up an excellent point and something that also bothers me that we haven't even got to yet. The fact that Joe Douglas now has 4 first-round picks to work with in the next 2 years, does that give you a little bit of anxiousness, knowing that if Darnold doesn't play well this year, Adam Gase could just point the finger at him and get another quarterback? Does that bother you a little bit?
We cannot let Adam Gase be here if Sam Darnold doesn't work out. We cannot let Adam Gase be a part of now next. We cannot.
That's my biggest worry. That's my biggest worry.
I'm about to pardon both of y'all wisdom for a second, man. I'm sorry, man. I think Sam Darnold's the real deal, and I'm not. I can't say that.
I do too. I'm just worried that if this season isn't a success, that Adam Gase will point the finger at him.
No, I mean, listen. The fan base will go crazy for our time. The fan base will go crazy if you're telling me Sam Darnold's the problem. He's not the problem. The coaching is the problem. We understand that. But listen, bro, I'm sorry, Carl, but listen, man, there is no way, bro. You're going to tell me that you don't think Sam Darnold is that guy. Yeah, he had some bad games, but look what he's put into. You know what I'm saying? Look at the environment. You know what I'm saying?
Let's be honest. If we're going to make excuses for Sam Darnold, look at the situation Jamal Adams was in. We don't have any other on the defensive side of the ball.
Jamal wasn't in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't in a bad situation. Jamal, listen, at the end of the day, man, we're going to have to wrap this call up, bro. But listen, I'm going to say this right here real quick. Jamal wasn't in a bad situation. The defense has never been our problem. It's been our offense. That's been an issue right there. We can't get, you know what I'm saying? Our defense has been on the field 30, 40, 60% of the time. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's been. But listen, man, we appreciate you calling, man. Appreciate you being here. Call back anytime you want to and get it in.
Well, let me finish this. Let me just say this one thing. You know, I know people get sensitive whenever you bring up Sam Darnold, and listen, I'm a believer in Sam Darnold, but I feel like we have to. The way we're building this, we're looking at until the next 2 or 3 years. Look at Baker Mayfield, the talent that Baker Mayfield has around him. Look at the Lamar Jackson have around him. Can we truly say that we're even better than the Dolphins right now? How is that fair to Sam Darnold when as a fan base, we're saying we're not looking at this well. We believe in Sam Darnold, but to me, in my opinion, I'm not feel like we haven't even ate with Sam Darnold, and yet Sam Darnold, we believe in Sam Darnold, but is Sam Darnold the type of guy that's going to make us around? I believe saying this, we need to put talent around Sam Darnold. Why take first round that we and try to add something to help us this year?
Michael, we agree with you. Listen, Dan Orlovsky did it. He ranked him and Chris Sims both ranked all the situations for all the young quarterbacks, and they had Sam Darnold ranked last with his supporting class. That speaks volumes right there. With the offensive line, coaching, receivers, everything, he had him as not being helped at all, and actually called him in a terrible situation. And that's a reputable analyst. So I agree with you completely, man. This got to do a better job around Sam. They took a little step this year, hopefully with the offensive line and Mims, and next year we see. So Thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Have a good night, bro. Have a good night.
And that's the one thing. We'll keep going with the call, so we got a zillion people here. But the Sam Darnold conversation drives me insane because if you look at – we've done it the last 3 or 4 weeks. You look at Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Drew Lock. Look at them all and how the teams have built around
all
them.
in a better
And what the
situation.
Jets have done, we've done it ass backwards.
Dude,
Exactly,
I completely agree, but doesn't it bother you a little bit that there are signs that if this season doesn't go well, you could absolutely see Gase and Douglas, pointing the finger at Sam and using those draft picks to bring in another quarterback? Can't you see that happening? Like, as much as I believe in Sam and think he's the goods, it would be mine too, probably. But can't you see that happening? They would need a fall guy if this season doesn't go well, especially on offense. Jamal Adams shouldn't affect what the offense does. So if the offense has an issue this year, who are they going to blame it on?
Oh, dude, don't
right here, man. Everyone, what the caller just said, man. He said that every quarterback he named has a better situation than what we have right now. You know what I'm saying? Imagine Sam having what Baker Mayfield had, or having what Kyler Murray has. You know what I'm saying? Or even have what they have in Miami. I mean, listen, we understand this, but we understand this process can't be fixed in the off season, man. This is the whole problem. This is 10 years of bad management.
Well, hold on.
It's crazy.
Hold on a second. Joe Douglas went the bargain basement route. Not bargain basement, but he went for value when he went with the offensive lineman. Now I have 2 surveys that were done on all the offensive linemen ranked in tiers.
Oh,
and
I saw
everybody, the Jets fans keep the Brandon Thorne. Look at the tiers where you put all our offensive linemen. So he took a kind of a pragmatic approach. He got McGovern, which you all like, but the other ones we don't know. So everybody keeps telling me how great everybody is. The proof will be in the pudding. So before we start, saying this offensive line.
One thing on that, though, isn't it reported that Douglas had several financial limitations this year as far as dealing with contracts and what he was allowed to offer certain players that were free agents? I feel like that's been reported multiple times. So, like, if there was a player like a Jack Conklin or somebody that he maybe wanted to offer a contract, but he didn't have the financial resources to do it, that would be the only thing, I guess, that would, deflect blame away from him. That's what it seems like.
Jesus Christ. All right, we'll go to the next caller. Because oh, my goodness. We're going to go to our good friend Dan in Howard Beach. What's up, man?
Where do I begin? Oh, my God. Dude, you can't build a house without cement. You can have all the bricks you want, but if you don't have the glue to hold them together, holy smokes. I don't know. I'm so torn with this trade because I love Jamal Adams. I loved him. I loved everything that he brought, the energy, the leadership. And then the guy turned sour. And now I look at the trade, and I don't look at it as, oh, man, we lost our best strong safety. I look at it as we lost our best pass rusher. That's what we really lost, if you think about it. So now let's say, because, again, the season hasn't started yet. We have not started the season at all. So, of course, right now it's a complete subtraction on the defense. But it's still early to the point that we're a month and a half away from the season. Therefore, you still have a Jadeveon Clowney out there. You still have an Ndakwe out there that you can trade one of the first-rounders or maybe 2 third-rounders, one this year, then one next year or whatnot. You can – I'm not saying replace Jamal because they're obviously 2 different positions, but you can replace that pass-rushing point because, again, our cornerbacks, I'm not going to say that they're 100% solid, but it's a huge upgrade with Pierre Desir on one side. You got Bless coming back.
Yeah, but Dan,
I thought he played pretty good.
But there's a difference between Clowney and Ngakwe, though. There's a big difference. Clowney's going to be a one-year deal. The other guy's going to want your trading to give him away compensation, plus he wants a long-term deal. They're 2 significantly different players. I'd rather go for the building block player and make the trade. If you're going to go big, go big.
I would as well. I would actually, obviously, you would have to hammer out a deal before you pull the trigger on that trade. And I'm pretty sure that Joe would actually do something like that because you just don't sign a player for 1 year, especially a huge player like that, unless you're going for a full-out Super Bowl, just like Seattle's doing. The reason why they went for the whole Jamal Adams thing. Because, Russell Wilson, he's going up there in age. I love the guy. The guy's a phenomenal player. But he's going up there. Their offensive line sucked. You want to talk about the Jets' offensive line? Their offensive line sucked. And the best part about that, to draw a parallel, the Jets saw Russell Wilson's offensive line and said, yo, we got to go get Fant.
I was just going to say that.
Let's get another trashy freaking right tackle.
Hey, Dan, let me ask you a question, Dan. So, with the loss of Jamal, how do you feel about the two first and a third, and McDougal the player? How do you feel about that? Is that a good compensation for Jamal? Or for Jamal?
Yeah, overcompensated. This is a complete fleece deal. Like, let's not get it twisted. For a strong safety, 2 first-round picks, complete fleece. Not only that, if Joe hits on these picks, this could be a complete Herschel Walker deal. Completely. How Dallas hit on their picks from Minnesota back in, 90? You know what I mean? Like, that's how big this trade is.
Wasn't Dallas picking in the, top 10, with most of those picks in that deal?
They were, but again, Kevin,
it would be very tough to see Seattle in the top 10. I know Russell could go down and things could happen, but I think these are probably somewhere from 22 to 32. That's where these picks are going to be.
Kevin, there's one attribute that you're missing, and that's the COVID attribute. God forbid one of these guys get COVID or whatever. They're out. They're out They're out 2 weeks, 14 days. 2 weeks, which can make a break from a wild card to actually winning a very competitive division. That's not no Mickey Mouse AFC East division. That freaking AFC West is a killer. That's a dog-eat dog. All of them, they're all competitive in that division. But obviously, most likely than not, it's going to be up in the 20s or whatnot. But that's where Joe Douglas, I hope, comes to bat as well, because the Baltimore Ravens, when he was there, he saw Ozzie Newsome select some big time players like Ray Lewis was in the 20s, right? Ed Reed as well, somewhere in the 20s, late. It wasn't no top 5, top 10.
Rashad Perriman was up there too, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to ask Dan, and we were kind of talking about this a little bit off the air. Does it bother you a little bit that Seattle, which is a well-respected, well-run organization, that they saw enough in Jamal to feel comfortable giving up those 2 first-round picks without any guarantee of a contract, while the Jets, who are searching for talent, were willing to give that up? I mean, does that aspect bother you at all?
You know what I think, in all honesty, from a financial aspect with Jamal, and this is where I might agree with Jamal trying to get out of here, and he fell in a perfect position. I think playing in Seattle that 1 year will merit him from getting $20 million, because he can be an Earl Thomas, where he can get his good 5 to 6 picks that we haven't seen him do, being the game changer that he's going to be, because that defense is stout, unlike ours. I mean, last year was all holes everywhere, man. I mean, I think Tyrone hit it on the head, man. Like, we're getting players back this year. Hopefully they'll be healthy. But you got Avery Williamson finally playing next to, C.J. Mosley, and then you got the other kid that came from Baltimore that actually played with Mosley pretty well. So these are interchangeable pieces. And not only this, we have more depth this year than we did last year. We changed our strength and conditioning coach. Hopefully that helps within itself to stay healthy. Hopefully.
Jesus
Christ.
To that level now? Wait, Dan, you just bring up, we're going to – Jesus. But Dan, here's my question for you. What was your expectation with the team before Jamal Adams was traded and after? Like, how many wins before? How many wins after?
I gotta put a third scenario in there if I can. May I? First one,
sure.
pre Jamal, I look at probably 10 wins with Jamal. Without Jamal, right now, I look at it at 8 wins. The third scenario is the one that I alluded to before: trade for a pass rusher. So at least you have that aspect of the game still there that you had with Jamal, and it's back to 10. You need a pass rusher. That goes without saying. Jenkins doesn't work on his own without a pass rusher. Jenkins did good when Jamal came off the edge, which exposed the backside of our secondary. Not only that, we had no cornerbacks whatsoever, especially the first, 6 games of the season with that waste freaking Tremaine. You know what I mean? So my expectations are high this year, and I'll tell you why. Because Gase is on the hot seat. That's why. Gase has everything to prove. Tyson, you nailed it on the head. Gase has to prove everyone wrong. I'm a doubter. I don't believe in him. I think the freaking offensive scheme is going to be vanilla as shit completely. But this is his opportunity to change his ways. Change his ways how? Cool. Point number one, allow Sam to change plays a la Peyton. As soon as he goes to the line of scrimmage, let's see what you learn from Peyton as a head coach. Let him change the plays right then and there. Be more vocal. Be more player-friendly. Do what Tom Coughlin did in 2007. As old as fuck as he was, he changed his ways, and they wound up winning a Super Bowl. But if he's stymied and still stubborn, dude, 3-13 season, take. You have a coach like that, you're playing against the Cincinnati Bengals, one of the worst rushing defenses, and you don't rush Le'Veon for more than 33 carries? If he does that this year, I don't see Joe Douglas or even the ownership keeping Adam Gase for one more year. And I think, what was it? Was it Tyrone that stated I don't know if it was Tyrone or Kevin that said, let's say this year, if Sam flops, if we're going to look into a different direction. Honestly, I hate to say it, we didn't see that whole Jamal thing happening a year ago. God forbid Darnold regresses and throws 20 interceptions, 24, 25. I'm looking probably we're going to be going up to the whole Trevor Lawrence thing.
Oh,
I don't know what to think. Me too. I hate to think that. I got like 9 freaking different Darnold jerseys.
Thanks for calling.
Buyback. I'll sell them now.
That's what I started saying. Thanks for calling it, man. We appreciate it.
Later, man. Anybody want a Neil O'Donnell jersey?
My dad has one. I can borrow it from him.
Don't look at the back of the jersey. Just look at the front. Later, fellas.
Have a good night, man.
All right, prime time. I gotta do a special request. We're gonna bring on this next caller, but this next caller is gonna be me and Tyrone. So we gotta take on Shaq. So I don't want to make you endure this. Yeah. So I'm just gonna attack Shaq because this has been ruined for about 3 weeks.
I got my
now.
popcorn ready. I'm gonna sit back, let you guys go at it, man.
Oh.
All right. So let's bring on Mr.
You about
Shaq.
to get sad now.
Oh. Shaq, how you doing, man?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Bring Tom back. Bring him back. Nope. I want everybody to hear this. I want everybody
Shaq,
to hear this.
What's up, baby?
What's good, Tyrone? What's up?
Hi, Shaq,
hey,
look,
look,
man. So let's get to this, man. How you feeling,
Let's
Please, man.
Tyrone, don't cut him off. Let him have his little monologue here so we can roast him.
If you don't want to hear what I have to say, hang up the phones. Please hang up the phone because it's not going to be positive. I'm going to tell you that now. It's damn sure not going to be positive. You might get a little positive, but that's about it. But what's positive in this organization? What's positive? What is positive here? What's positive here?
Sam Darnold.
Oh, that's positive trading away a 24-year-old all-pro in his prime? Are you serious? For next year's pick? And mind you, college football might not even happen. That's even funnier. College football might not even happen. And then another thing, players don't want to be there don't mean you give away the talent. Kobe, I'm using this as an example. Kobe wanted to be traded from Los Angeles. But did he get traded? No, because they had a great general manager and a great owner. It's a difference. They had a great owner, and he saw talent, and so he said, you know what? I'm going to build around that talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, if winning cures everything. Winning makes you ignore every flaw that you have. Any flaw that you have on the team. Any flaw. No matter what it is. If you're winning, nobody cares. Nobody gives a damn. That's all he wanted was winning in his money. Because we weren't winning, he just said, you know what? I'm going to use money as an excuse. And obviously playing under Adam Gase is not fucking good neither. You know? So it's like, why? That's another thing. That's another
so wait, Shaq,
freaking thing.
Shaq, hold on. So, Shaq, hold on. Before this trade happened, what was your expectation this season for the team? How many wins?
I told you between 8, maybe 7 wins to 10.
So what's your expectation now, Shaq?
Dude, Jesus Christ.
6 and 10.
Wait.
Shaq.
Between
Shaq, what's your expectation now?
That's our record. It's 6 and 10.
Hold on. Look, between 7 to 10 is ridiculous. It's either like 7 wins or 10 wins. That's a playoff team or non-playoff team. Which one was it before the draft, before the trade?
It was between that number, 7 wins and maybe 9.
Christ, dude, you're like a goddamn weatherman. Well, it could rain or it could snow. I mean, what are we doing here? Either 7 wins or 10 wins. Which is it?
I get okay.
Are they a playoff
I'll say
before the trade? Or are they a playoff
I'll
team?
say 7 wins. 7 wins.
Okay, so you're going to say 7 wins before the trade. So they're a bad team before the trade, and now after the trade, you're still a bad team.
They're still a better team. They're 1 game behind now for me. 6 wins.
So hold on, so Shaq. So you're saying after the trade Jamal, we're gonna lose, so we're gonna win 6 games next year?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's not that big of a difference.
Wait a minute.
His
point doesn't make any sense. Wait, you said it's a 1 game difference of trading him? What the hell?
Yeah,
why not trade him? It's only a 1 game difference.
You want to know why? Because he's a star player, and the team to me still wasn't ready. The team still wasn't ready. The team wasn't. I've been saying even before the trade happened, I said the team wasn't ready. The trade wasn't ready.
The team isn't
ready.
Oh my God!
But Shaq, we're only listen, Shaq. If we're only losing one more other game.
Why can't? I'm tired of waiting. It's been 52 years since we've seen the team in the Super Bowl. Are you guys proud of waiting? That's what you want? That's what you want?
Not at all.
Wait?
Not at all.
You want
Not
to
at
wait?
all.
You want to continue to wait 3 more years for greatness when this year could have been the great. This is perfect timing. It was still free agents out there that we could have had. We could have got the top tier line. Why would you go get a guy? Why would you go spend money on a guy that couldn't even protect his freaking elite quarterback either way? A swing tackle? You sign a swing tackle to a $10 million deal? You serious? When you could have just added $3 more million for Jack Conklin? You serious?
And he wasn't a start. And he wasn't a starter at all. So I feel you, Shaq.
He was terrible.
But Shaq, what I'm asking you is this, Shaq. Who replaces Jamal on this team right now? I understand not his production, just overall the leadership role in this right here.
Most likely CJ. Most likely.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You don't see us getting better with CJ and Avery coming back? You don't see no improvement with the team with that? Even with the loss of Jamal?
No. Because we still have a major hole. We have a major hole at pass rush. Our weapons on offense is not. We're relying on a rookie receiver and a journeyman receiver. Tyson, stop your shit. I just heard you before. I just heard you 20 minutes ago. I was agreeing everything you were saying. Now all of a sudden you gonna switch it up on me? That's terrible.
What are you talking about? I'm sitting there minding my own business.
Terrible.
What do you mean? Why are
you
you attacking me?
You just said that you.
What are you attacking me for?
You just said you got criticized not too long ago. I was agreeing with everything you were saying. And you know another thing? The caller before Dan, he had a point because I was thinking that too. I said, damn, if Jamal is not getting signed, and that means if he's not safe, that means nobody is safe on this team.
Dude, there's a big difference between a safety that's burning down every bridge in New York and New Jersey and a franchise quarterback that everybody loves and believes in. There's a significant difference there. If there's rumblings about Sam Darnold, this fan base will go ape shit. Plus everybody will go ape shit.
That's what I'm saying. And it won't even be Sam's fault. If Sam fucks up, do you really believe that the GM and the coach that are very close friends are going to believe that it's going to believe it's got him
Listen, dude, I'm just a fan that drinks beer, but I have this sense to understand that this offensive line is not ideal. These wide receiver group is not ideal. I'm not a believer in Gase's play calling. So, you look at the situation right now and you compare it to everybody else in the NFL, it's not ideal. So somebody keeps saying, if Sam is running for his life and getting the shit beat out of him again, and he doesn't play well, we're going to blame him or blame the environment, the team, and the coach.
You know who we're blaming, but that's the thing.
No,
we know who we're blaming. We know who we're going to give the blame to. But the problem is we're not the organization. That's the thing. The organization.
Listen, I'm sorry, man. Listen, man, brother, everybody would go crazy, and you're gonna tell me you're gonna blame Sam Darnold for what goes on this season when he's not, when he doesn't have what he needs. You know what I'm saying? The last caller said that Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray, these guys have solid players around them. They would not got DeAndre Hopkins, man, for a 3rd-round pick. You couldn't do that shit for Sam? Come on, bro. So I mean, that's the problem I have, bro. That's the problem I have. It's crazy.
If Joe Douglas can use these picks, if he can use these picks to get a player right now, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't care. But why take that gamble? Just like you're taking a gamble with the receivers that we have. Just like you're taking a gamble with the fucking non-pass rush that we have. Why would you do that? Why? Why can't we had a chance to become a playoff contender this year. I really believe that.
Absolutely.
But he was so I feel like he's penny pitching. It's irritating because you're signing 1-year players. We have no identity. Our identity is gone. Our identity is gone. He's gone. He's in Seattle. And then our other identity is Le'Veon. But the fucking coach only runs him 5 times a game or uses him 10 times a game. So what is our identity? What is it? What is it?
We don't have one.
You know why? We don't have one. People look at it. That's why other teams and fan bases look at us and laugh while we're in here thinking we're doing something.
Shaq, but here's the difference, though. And this is the one thing where, like, this is the year where Gase has to show his identity on offense. Because last year the built-in excuse was we had no offensive line, first year in the offense, and all this other bullshit. Okay, well, all those excuses are gone because now, in theory, your line should be better. You should have better playmakers around it because these are playmakers that you wanted. Because you remember last year it was like, I didn't want this guy, I didn't want that guy, McCagnon got him, I didn't want him. These are all your guys now. So you should be able to put a capable offense on here. This is on Gase now, dude. Like, we should learn what the identity is. Like, on defense, we knew what it was, and Greg Williams was held back because we had so many fucking injuries. This year, it's going to be like, all right, now let's see what you got when you had the players you want.
And I can agree, and I definitely agree with you.
I got a question. I got a question for both of y'all. So, with a player like Jamal not wanting to be here, right? How hard is it going to be able to bring in free agents? I mean, because if Jamal doesn't want to be here, bro, what do you think free agents are going to do when they see?
It's hard. Did you forget the Quincy and Nuance situation? Did you forget the Kelechi and Simulate a situation? Nobody going to want to be here. Nobody going to want to come here. Who will want to come here after hearing all of that shit?
But Shaq, hold on. The one thing, and this is a fair point, that Kim Jones brought up today, a couple other analysts brought up today, was with Jamal being gone, you didn't see a plethora of guys on social media saying farewell to him. Him and Le'Veon Bell went at it. A lot of guys seemed like they were kind of annoyed at all the bullshit he was doing on and off the field last year. So, like, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily think that Jamal Adams being traded is going to scare people away. If anybody's going to scare people away, it could be Gase. They lose again this year. If they go 5-11 this year and they bring him back again, I think that's going to scare people away. I don't think this trade is – it was weird. I mean, you didn't really see a whole big outpouring on social media saying, hey, goodbye, Jamal, good luck. It wasn't much, dude.
That's fine. A lot of people, you know, they rely on social media. I don't care about that shit. All I care about is winning games. That's all I care about, honestly. I care about winning games. I felt like he got offended when he got traded. Ever since we put him on the chopping block, that's when shit went to hell. If that wouldn't have happened, I felt like this situation would have been a lot smoother. It would have been a lot smoother. We would have handled it a lot better.
Like the one thing that Joe Douglas kept saying today was there was clear lines of communication. Okay, did you have that communication in April and March? And he said, I'm not coming back. If I don't get my money, I want to be out. Because if that's the case, the trade should have already happened. It should have happened this year's draft.
Yeah, it should have. That's my point.
Absolutely.
So now we got to wait a whole entire year.
That's one thing I do agree with. It's a problem.
Shaq, I had a question for you, Shaq.
Go ahead.
Are we still friends, man? You just attacked me. I took that
course.
personal.
You know I love you to death. You know I love you to death, man. You know that. Stop that. You know I love you to death, boy. You know that.
Shaq, thanks for calling it, man. We appreciate it.
Oh, you know it's
always
Shaq
love. Hey, Shaq, you was more live than last time, bro. I didn't know what you was doing, bro. I didn't know if I wanted to cry and hug you, bro. That shit was rough, bro. Yo, good call, bro. Good call.
Man, I'm tired of losing, man. I'm tired of losing, man. Hey, think of one thing.
Too.
If to all the fathers out there, if your kids was born in 2010 and you look at your son growing up and he's 10 years old now, That was the last time we made the playoffs. I just wanted to put that out there. I'm sorry for bad dreams and memories. I'm sorry. I just wanted to put that out there. I just want to win. That's it. I just want to win.
Have a good night.
You too.
Oh, man. This show has been just off the chains. Jesus Christ. All right.
We're going to bring Mr. Primetime back on, because now we're going to bring on another very special guest. This is a prominent
Hold on
caller
one
that
second. Hold on one second.
Uh-oh.
So, well, I have an issue with the Jamal Adams farewell tour and, the messages on social media. So, first off, he did have a couple of posts. I think it was Arthur Millette, Avery Williamson, a few other guys. They did post on Instagram, showing him love and, whatever else. So, that's first. Second, I'm sure through text messages he had a lot more support. And let's be honest, how many players on this Jets roster can afford to burn a bridge with their career? What percentage of guys on this roster right now, are willing to risk their spot on this team or, getting a future contract by defending Jamal and ripping, what's here? Not a lot of these guys are as talented as Jamal where they have a team willing to give up 2 first-round picks for them. So I don't think a lot of guys can speak up or feel comfortable speaking up against the team that's – well, yeah, of course. I mean, he's under contract. He's getting paid plenty of money. And Le'Veon Bell also has a personal vendetta because Jamal was vocal in trying to bring him in. So I think that was a lot more personal because he felt like Jamal played him in a sense.
Okay.
Your thoughts, Prime? Prime Time is right. He's probably definitely right though, man. Like I'm saying, so Prime, I got the question, yo. So how do you feel about the Le'Veon and Adams back and forth? Nobody's talking about this night. How'd you feel about that back and forth, man? How'd you feel about that?
I understand where both sides are coming from, honestly. I mean, I think I side with Bell, of course, because, you look at that situation specifically. Yeah, Adams was a vocal recruiter of Bell. And so to go out of your way to try to bring in free agents and then a year later you're demanding a trade out of that situation that you just brought somebody else into. Yeah, absolutely. You can understand why, Le'Veon Bell would be pissed at Jamal. But at the same time, I don't think Jamal knew if Adam Gase was, the big reason behind all this. I don't think Adam Gase knew what, Jamal Adams knew what Adam Gase was going to be coming in here. So, if it was that or if it was ownership, whatever else, I mean, it's hard to actually tell what led to, Jamal turning. But, yeah, from Bell's standpoint, you can understand why he'd be pissed.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to go to a celebrity caller now. This is a very important person that likes to be on at a certain time, but he's shit out of luck tonight. Mr. Steve. What's up, Steve?
Hey, guys.
What's up,
How you doing
Steven?
tonight? What's up, Kev, Tyrone, Tyson? What's going on, guys?
What's going on, Steve?
What?
Hey, Steve, let's just jump into it, man. Let's just jump into it right now. So what's your opinion on the Jamal Adams trade, Steve?
The way how I looked at the Adams trade, listen, am I upset that Jamal Adams had traded? Absolutely. But what we got in return was a phenomenal return. And I remembered a couple of weeks ago or even last month saying when this was all going out, when Jamal Adams said, I want to be traded. Don't get me wrong. I did wanted him to be re-signed, but what we had in return to get 2 first-round picks is great. And I understand where the fans from the legit Pro Bowl player. We lost, the guy who's been the face of the franchise for the last couple of years. But you got to give Douglas the credit for what he did.
So when you look at this team, how many wins were they going to get before the trade and how many wins will they get after?
If Jamal was going to be on the team, I would say 10 wins. But right now, if I'm looking at the team now, 7, 8.
Okay, so how do you think the Jets are going to try and make up for Adams? How do you think they make up for the pass rush? Do you think McDougal was a good replacement to help back there? Safety?
I mean, he's not the player that Jamal is, but, he is a good player. However, though, when I look at this, it's that, I try to go after a guy like Ngakoue, maybe trade one of Seattle's first-round picks they gave to us, give it to Jacksonville, get us Ngakoue.
This is actually – Tyron, what do you think, man?
I just think that, you know what I'm saying? I think that Steve is out here just giving his opinion. So, Steve, listen, I want your honest opinion right now. So, what do you see the Jets doing to replace Jamal Adams?
What do I see when they? What do I see and how they replace Jamal Adams?
Tyrone, you not listening over there, man? What are you doing, Steve? What are you sleeping over there? What is going on here? What kind of shit is this? Steve,
no. Hold on. No. I don't want Steve to give an opinion he gave someone else and add. I want Steve's opinion. But Tyson, take over, buddy. Go ahead.
Damn, Tyron, you're getting booed on your own show.
I know, bro. It's crazy, man. Shit happens, bro.
Prime time, go ahead, man. Prime time, SC, prime time.
Well,
show Tyron how it's done. Yeah. That's a real question.
Well, I got my question ready because this is what I want to ask everybody tonight that calls in. Does it bother you that Seattle saw enough in Jamal Adams to feel comfortable giving up 2 first-round picks with no guarantee of a contract while the Jets are in need of talent and felt comfortable trading him? Does that aspect of this bother you at all, especially when the Jets have a history? And again, I know this has nothing to do with Joe Douglas, but Keyshawn Johnson, Darrelle Revis, star players that have been in this organization and left and gone on to win Super Bowls while the team has not replaced what those guys brought. So does that aspect of all of this bother you at all?
No, I mean it does. It does, Kevin. It does. I mean, because we when we've had these star players before in the past that have played with us. I mean, listen, I didn't really see too much of Keyshawn Johnson play, but I saw like the thing with Revis, and when Revis won the Super Bowl with New England. I mean, the thing is with Jamal. I mean, it does bother me because, when we've had a lot of very good players back then, that we drafted and picks that Jets have hit home runs with, they honestly get out of this organization and then they go to play for another organization, go on to win a Super Bowl. So that does kind of bother me a bit, and that would honestly kind of upset me if, let's say, if Jamal does have a big success with Seattle and Seattle does go on to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and that's the part that I'm trying to keep in mind. Like, if Jamal ends up playing his entire career with Seattle, next 10 years, wins a Super Bowl or 2, goes on to make, a bunch more All-Pros, and especially if we don't replace him or nail those draft picks that we got back, I don't get how so many people are just celebrating this trade right now when the actual evaluation of this trade can't come for another 2 to 3 years until those draft picks are made. So we traded a known for a lot of unknowns. Exactly. Yeah, we have a lot of unknowns. It's exciting to think about if we hit on all of that, but until we do, we've been down this road before and it hasn't worked. So to be celebrating right now, I can't do it.
Listen, Kev, I understand where you're coming from. I understand. You've been a fan longer of this team than I am, and I can totally understand where you're coming from. But at the end of the day, we're just going to see, man. But I know how you feel, man.
We're just going to see, Kev. We're just going to see, man. Just enjoy the process, ride the wave, drink the Kool-Aid.
Enjoy the process.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Steve, thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, hang on, Tyrone. You got one more thing? Go ahead.
Oh, listen to Steve. Steve's like, I need that extra airtime. He's like, give me that airtime, man. Come on. Give me one more question. Come on, let's go.
I was going to say, Steve, good call tonight, man.
Oh, that was it? All right. Well, thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You have a good night, too.
He's like, all right, I got compliments from everybody. I'm out. Ended on a good note.
What I was saying is, Steve be regurgitating stuff, though, man. That's why I was trying to get Steve to say something like, yo, how do you feel, Steve? Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I love Steve. Steve's a great caller, man. Good call, Steve.
All right, we're going to go to James in Nevada. You guys got it. Prime time, you guys take him.
Hey,
what's up, man?
Hey, I'm okay.
What's going on, James? How you doing?
I'm all right. Like I was telling Kevin, hey, how you doing? It's disheartening, of course, as a Jet fan, Jamal's are, in a pool of, incompetence, in a pool of incompetence and just bullshit. Jamal is the shining star in all of this, right? And now we lose that. And you know what, guys? I've been here before. Think John Abraham, right? Think Santana Moss. Think Darrelle Revis. I mean, the cycle continues, right? As I was kind of traveling down memory lane and heartbreak, all that, I was thinking about another safety that we had. And, he was kind of like a Hollywood star, too, and Kerry Rhodes, right? And when everybody, you know, oh, Kerry Rhodes is gone, the sky is falling, and you know what? The Jets were able to recover from that, right?
Hold on.
Kerry Rhodes is not even half the player that Jamal Adams is. By year 2 or year 3, he was afraid to tackle. He was good in the secondary, made some interceptions, but he was afraid to tackle by like year 3. He was not even half the player that Jamal is. Good player, but not an all-pro, not at all.
Not even close, yeah. That's
Jamal
not even close, bro.
You know, Jamal is obviously he's a better player than Kerry Rhodes, but you know, you lose a guy like that in the secondary. You know what? You might be able to withstand some of that, right? And I'm not saying the sky is going to be blue, right? Because let's face it, with Jamal Adams, was this team going to the Super Bowl? No. You know, nobody thought that. Nobody thought this team was going on a playoff run. So what the hell are we doing? You know, if he's going to be here or not, you know, if he's going to be here or not, you know, we need to,
the problem I have, though,
make plans.
Yeah, James, the problem I have, though, is that Jamal Adams is 24 years old. So, you know, how long should a rebuild actually take, especially when you have your quarterback already in place on his rookie contract? You know, it's not like we have a million holes on this team. You have guys in Mosley and Quinnen Williams and Herndon that you believe in. So you take away Adams from the equation now, and you're adding draft picks, you know, a year from now, 2 years from now. You're delaying the process, you know, for ultimately being able to win, I think, by at least 3 years. Instead of just trying to go all in on what you have and the foundation that's in place and keeping these guys and adding to it, you're kind of resetting it all over again.
Right. And that's what the Jets are, right? The Jets are usually, 2 years away from being 2 years away, like every year. You know, and it's just the same thing over and over. But you know what? I'm going to be positive. I know some people are, you know, that they're going to be, you know, with their thoughts. I'm going to say this.
I'm gonna just say this right here. We can't diminish what Jamal has done on the field. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing we really can't do. He's been
my guy, who I've
great
defended. I've defended, you know, Joe Douglas. And what is the thing he always says? Oh, we value competition. We value to be competitive. Blah blah blah. Well, you know what, Joe Douglas, this is your chance. You better go out there and get any. You know, Ngakwe, you better go get something. You better go get pass rushers. You better go get a receiver for Sam Darnold because, you know, we're not going to accept, like, trash this season. You know, and I just, you know, I'm not going to, you know, you always say, can it get any worse? You know what I mean? And, you know, it's a nervous thing to say, but, you know, Joe Douglas, Adam Gase, they need to put it together. And I'm sorry, I love Sam Darnold, but this is his put up or shut up year. If Sam Darnold's going to go, he's going to have to go with him, his ability alone. And if he can't do it,
hold on a second. I'm sorry. I got to chime in here. Hold on. How is this Sam Darnold's make it or break it year when he's got a mediocre offensive line, but basically a mediocre wide receiver group, a mediocre head coach? How is this his make or break year?
It's gonna have to be. Like, we have
Why
Sam Darnold here to
Why is it a
play.
make or break year?
You can't just baby and coddle him, you know. And
him? They haven't
we've done that. We've kind of done that, like making excuses for. You know what?
Did they load him with? Hold on. You know who they're babying? They're babying Josh Allen by surrounding him with a surplus of talent. They ain't babying Sam Darnold. They're kicking him in the ass, like getting him shit to work with. Babying him? You got to be out of your fucking mind.
I got to give you that Tyson. Yeah, I don't know what all of this Sam hate. Where all this Sam hate's coming from, man, but I'm sorry, man. If Sam was in Buffalo, he went to the Super Bowl last year. That's the talent, you know what I'm saying? That's what he does. People don't understand it. We're lack of talent. You know what I'm saying? So whether we had Jamal or not, if our offense don't produce, if Joe Douglas has to find a way to fix our offense a little bit without giving Sam really good receivers or proven receivers, it's going to be hard.
But look at this. You're going into the season with a rookie at left tackle. Your number 2 receiver is probably going to be a rookie. Give me a break, dude. Your offensive line, I mean.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, you can't even – listen, I've been saying this for a while, man. You can't count Mims. He's a wasp, bro. I mean, listen, the kid hasn't had no OTAs. Training camp's going to be crazy. You can't expect – if we get 40 catches out of him, I'll be tickled to death. Who's our second-best receiver on this team? I'll wait. Hey, not tight end, our second-best receiver. Nobody. Nobody.
It's gotta,
That's the problem.
It's gotta happen though. Something has to happen. We can't just sit there.
Yeah, they gotta build around them. It's gotta happen.
We gotta, you know what, though, guys? We gotta know. You know what? We gotta know. And you almost think back to guys like Chad Pennington. You know what I mean? He didn't have like the greatest circumstances, but he kind of evolved and adapted to certain things. Yes.
Chad Pennington
you got
circumstances.
Night and day compared to what Darnold were. Yeah, go ahead.
Dude, Sanchez's early years, he had more than Sam Darnold did. Chad had more than Sam Darnold did. It's not even close, dude.
Chad's first year as a starter, he was throwing to Santana Moss, Wayne Corbett, and Lavernius Coles. And he still had Mawai at center. I think it was Fabini and McKenzie on tackles.
Jesus Christ. Who has Sam had? We can say Robbie. That's
but you know what?
Listen. That's the best you're going to give him is Robbie? Nah,
but you know what? All of this, I'll be positive for 1 second. All of this that we're talking about right now, all of these assets that we just added, if we successfully build them around Sam Darnold, yes, this trade becomes a massive success. Until that happens, though, it's hard right now at this very second to celebrate it. Your outlook for the future looks great. It just sucks that we've been in that situation before and we haven't taken advantage of it. I give Douglas a fresh start. He's only been here for a full year. His only draft we haven't even seen yet, so we really don't know what he is. But if he's supposed to be the draft guru and he's got 4 first-round picks to work with plus multiple threes and multiple fifths, from the Giants Leonard Williams trade, we're in an excellent position to build around Sam. He has to actually nail the picks now, which is the hardest part.
James, thanks for calling, man. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Yeah.
Good talking to you, Jips.
Sorry, guys. I can't. I am like, this Sam Darnold shit drives me out of my mind. So I apologize for cursing at him, but I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. I really can't take any more of it.
They've been killing us, and I don't know why everyone's blaming Sam. Like, it's Sam's fault, man, for bad leadership and no players. I mean, Jesus Christ. Come on, man. We can't do that. I can't.
And that is what worries me. Not that I don't believe in Sam. I'm one of Sam's biggest supporters, but that is what worries me about Gase and potentially Douglas. If this season doesn't go well, having all those draft picks, it could be an excellent excuse to point the finger at somebody else to give Gase another year or two with his quarterback.
All right, we're going to go to Justin. Hold on 1 second here. My bad. Justin, what's up, man?
What's going on, Blake?
Dude, what the hell just happened in that last call? I mean, I took an ice cream cone. I'm eating a nice cone right now, relaxing because I had to relax because I know I was going to get heated no matter what. I took the ice cream cone. I'm relaxing. And then the last caller just hit with that Sam Darnold, and I start going, oh, my God, already with that nonsense? But let's get into it.
Hey, listen, hold on. Hey, let me start off real quick, man. Listen. Hey, I'm not even gonna front, yo. When the trade went down, the first person to call me was Justin. Like, yo, listen, he was like, oh my God, you know what happened, yo, this is crazy. Listen, I love you, bro. I want to ask you now to smoke and settle, man. How are you feeling about the Jamal Adams trade, and what do you think Joe Douglas did? Who won the trade?
I don't get it. A guy that just doesn't want to be on your team, he doesn't want to be a Jet. I mean, I get it. We have to draft and replace the guys, but the guy didn't want to be a Jet at the end of the day. And we got great compensation for him. I mean, I don't understand this blah, 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 all-star caliber player. At the end of the day, he's spitting the coach, the GM, and the whole organization's mouth. So, I mean, at the end of the day, good job for Joe Douglas. Got the toxic out of the locker room, and let's roll.
So, but again, my question for everybody is if Jamal Adams is so toxic, if Jamal Adams is so toxic, why did Seattle, which is a great culture, great organization, why did they feel comfortable giving up 2 1s for him?
No, he's not toxic, man. It's the organization, bro. Listen, this is the problem, man. Everybody looks at us as a laughing stock of the league. That's the problem, man. So whenever there's an issue with a player in New York, it's the organization, it's not the player.
Yep.
So listen, also, man, prime time. We got to look at one thing too. What does Seattle have that we don't have, prime time? What's the one key piece they had that we don't have? Coaching,
Head
man.
coach.
You know what I'm saying? They have a coach that love that his teams will run through a wall for, that loves, that knows how to coach, know how to reach players. So when you got a coach like that, man, you know what I'm saying? That's the biggest difference from us to them. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said, man, like, listen, I understand what everybody said tonight and everybody's frustration. But the Sam Darnold shit I'm not agreeing with. But missing Jamal, bro, listen, he's a once-in-a-lifetime player, man. You can't get past that. But at the same time, I agree with Justin, man. Listen, how long can you love someone that don't love you back, man? He don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to be here. My only problem and my only issue is this, man. It comes down to Sam Darnold. I don't care about Jamal being gone now, man. I don't even care anymore. It's about Sam Darnold, man. I don't want anybody to try to say that Sam Darnold is not he's not a franchise quarterback. He's the closest thing we've had to a franchise quarterback.
Already hearing it.
I'm just saying, dude, we've been down this road before where we get rid of the star player, we find all the excuses in the world why it was the player's fault, and we don't accept any blame for the organization. And I'm not saying in this situation that both sides weren't to blame, because they were. Jamal Adams clearly escalated the situation by his choice of words and everything he did on social media. But I'm just saying that a year ago, this was not the situation. Jamal Adams was all in on being a Jet. He was recruiting free agents.
No. Slow down there, prime time.
What? He wasn't recruiting Le'Veon Bell? He wasn't recruiting C.J. Mosley? I'm wrong about that?
A year. This been going on for over a year. If you read the article,
no, it hasn't. The trade deadline.
Yes, it has.
The trade deadline was not over a year ago. Yeah, that was, 8 months ago? That's not over a year ago. Free agency 1 year ago, he was recruiting Le'Veon Bell. He was recruiting C.J. Mosley. He was dancing in his Jets' new uniform videos in New York City. He was all about being a Jet. So what changed in a year? And that's all on him? He's the diva now? He's the fraud?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and guess
there
what?
are some things wrong with Jamal.
We were 17
there's
and
definitely
32
blame
with the
on
guy.
the New York Jets. And
if
and
the guy's
what, we
so
succeeded
good, why
with
are
Sam
we
Darnold?
17 and 32 with the guy? We lost with the guy. So now let's try a new thing and we can lose without the guy. I mean, let's just call it what it is. If the guy's so good,
and we could add more talent around him and win with him.
It doesn't matter.
To trade Sam too.
Justin, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
Have a good night, Blake.
So, this show, man, is just off the rails. I don't know what. I'm not even listening back to this one. This is just.
and let me just say real quick, like I get where every single fan is coming from that wants to rip Jamal Adams a new asshole. I totally understand it because I've done it with a lot of stars that my teams have traded, and none of them have won after getting rid of those guys. The Knicks, after getting rid of Porzingis, they haven't done shit. The Jets, after getting Revis, Keyshawn, Abraham, haven't done shit. Like, at what point do we stop, take a step back, and say there are problems with our organization that star players do not feel comfortable here, do not want to stay here, do not trust that the right pieces are in place to win? To me, that is a bigger problem.
Well, see, that could be what Joe Douglas has to overcome that. Listen, I keep saying the biggest problem Jamal Adams had was his approach, all the shit he caused. Half of the stuff he said could be true, and nobody's going to believe him, and that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I still have concerns about ownership. I still have concerns about Gase. I still have concerns about Douglas. They all still have a lot to prove to us. But unfortunately, we're in this rebuilding process again where it's going to be another 2 or 3 years. And that sucks.
But hold on, man. See, this is the point I got, though, man. Listen, I mean, at some point, we got to get, in prime time, listen, man, I'm not coming on you like that, bro. You know I love you, bro. But at some point, man, we got to get to the point that we understand it's been an organization. So at some point, we got to hope and pray that this is the right guy. We know the coach isn't the right guy. We all agree to that. But I really want to say that, man, I hope Douglas is building this the right way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen. I mean, to me, you know what I'm saying? It's just so tired of losing. And that's what everybody comes down to.
But you know what, though? The easiest excuse out of all this, we've been saying for 10 fucking years, build through the draft. You can't build through free agency. We've been saying this shit for years, and we can't fucking draft. So now we got to hope this guy can draft because our roster is so barren that we're so far behind. We got to catch up now. That's the problem.
Not just that. Over the last 10 years, what was our best draft pick over the last 10 years?
Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams.
There you go.
Maybe
so we can't build. Yeah, hopefully, Sam, but not yet. We can't build through the draft.
I
We have
know.
our best draft pick in 10 years.
Away.
We just traded him.
We traded
so,
away. I feel you, Prime.
That's why I cannot celebrate this deal. I'm excited and I'm optimistic about 2 to 3 years from now, like I've been in the past. But celebrating it right now is fucking stupid.
All right, so we're gonna go to. Hold on, Tyler. Hold on. We gotta go. One more caller here. We gotta get another caller on here. We got Mr. NYSF Magazine. Jay, what's up, man?
Man, you guys brought me in at a good time. This conversation is right up my alley, man. Kevin, you are so right, dude. Kevin is on. What up? What's going on, Tyrone, man? How's it going? Yo, by the way, one of the greatest parts of this uncensored version of Talk Jets Radio is when it used to be where Tyson would be silent, listening to a caller, and you could tell he was disagreeing because you'd hear like a deep breath and then a grunt, and then he would come in. He would come in with something cold. But this time tonight, that man started talking about how this was a make or break year for Darnold, and Tyson cut him off right away. He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, you fucking idiot?" That was the best. I was dying on the other end of the phone, man. I wish you guys could have heard my laugh. It would have been. It was fantastic. So that was great. But I'm gonna say something, man. You know, it's funny when you're a fan, right? You know. Obviously, you know, short for fanatic, and you can convince yourself of anything. I mean, you want to believe in the direction of your franchise. You want to believe in the future and in hope and all that stuff. So when you acquire some more lottery tickets in a future draft to go on top of your own picks, and you start to dream about what could be, that's all fun and everything, right? But at the end of the day, I mean. And I was bashing Jamal at first, too, because I don't like when a player, you know, bashes the organization and it embarrasses you as a fan and all that stuff. But you know what, man? Eventually, we got to figure out a way to keep our draft picks. I mean, we like if we hit on a draft pick, we haven't had a guy that's come up through this organization and been a homegrown guy that we've kept. So it started with Keyshawn. And he wanted out, so he traded him. Got a good haul for him. I mean, that I think that trade worked out pretty well. But just go across like the history of Jets draft picks. I mean, it's crazy. Every time we hit, even Revis had to trade him. Vilma, you know, you just go up and down the line. I mean, there's so many examples, even going as far back as Santana Moss and Lavernius Coles and Hugh Douglas and Farrier. And I mean, dude, the list is endless. We can't keep anybody. And, you know, you look at a team like the Ravens where Joe Douglas came from. You know, you look at what they did and what they built. Like, when they had draft picks, those guys grew up in the organization. Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, you know, I mean, and you could just keep naming players on that defense
Terrell
and everything.
Suggs,
And Terrell Suggs and Bullware and all of them, right? They all came up together and they all played together and they got comfortable with each other and they were homegrown talent. Dude, until the Jets can start drafting – and let's just hope Joe Douglas is that guy, but, like, until we can start drafting and keeping guys around here, you know, they keep talking about building a culture. You can't do that. Like, what is the Jets defense right now? I mean, you know, realistically speaking, you're hoping you get C.J. Mosley back at full strength this year, right? But, like, at the end of the day, I mean, you know, there's are you going to keep Marcus May? You're going to let him walk? I mean, he was a good pick, I guess, and you know, but who knows if they even get him back next year. You got a bunch of one-year contracts. C.J. Mosley, is he going to be around by the time those first-round draft picks start coming into their own that we acquired for Jamal Adams? I mean, every time, and that guy who earlier on the night, the guy had said it best. Like we're 2 years away, you know, every 2 years. I mean, it's like eventually you got to win games, dude. You got to win games eventually, right? I mean, it's been a decade. So when you're trading a guy like Jamal Adams, I saw this conversation on Facebook earlier. These people were convincing themselves that the Jets are a better team now than they were last week because McDougald is a better all-around safety than Jamal because he has more interceptions. Like, you see stuff and you're like, man, fans will convince themselves of anything. But the reality is we traded one of the best players in football for 2 lottery tickets. And while that's, you know, while I understand the trade and I love the haul they got back, dude, that is not a good sign of what's going on at the top of this franchise, because good teams draft a guy like that and keep him for life, period. And you or else what was the point of drafting him? I mean, you draft him hoping he's going to be Jamal Adams. He turned into Jamal Adams. It was the best case scenario, and 3 years later, he's gone. He's on some other team, and now you have to, wait a year or two before you can even replace any production from what you got from him. So I don't know, man. I'm with Kev. It's bad. It's a bad sign of what's going on at the top of this organization, and Jamal, exactly like you said, Justin, he was recruiting guys a year ago, and look at the difference in the free agency period from this year as opposed to last year, and then look what the common denominator is in these scenarios. I don't care. They did all this PR and cover up and all this stuff today to talk about how much faith they all have in Adam Gase, and of course, that's the right PR move. But that doesn't. I mean, he has to win games. If he doesn't win games this year, he's gone. Period. And he should be.
Kevin, your thoughts?
I mean, he agreed with all my thoughts, so I agree with his thoughts.
This is one big love fest here, man. What are your thoughts, Tyrone?
Hey, man. Hey, listen. Whenever Jay gets on and gets in one of his little spills, I'm back in fan mode, man. So I'm agreeing with everything Jay said tonight, bro. I mean, because it's the truth. I mean, listen, man. At the end of the day, man, listen. I'm not saying we're better. I'm saying we're a better team than we were last year, but I'm damn sure not gonna say we're a better team than we were a week ago. I definitely can't say that. And losing a player like that just gonna hurt. But at the same time, I understand we got to move forward. And Jay, I want to ask you one question, Jay, before we go. What do you think about the Jamal and Le'Veon Twitter little back and forth?
I gotta say, I'll tell you what my first thought was when I saw that is that. Jamal better get rewarded. Jamal took a lot of – not Jamal. Le'Veon better get rewarded. Le'Veon took a lot of shit the first year when he was here right away, right off the bat from Gase. And I would say that if that was a different player, I don't know that he would have handled it that well. I'm actually really pleasantly surprised the professionalism and the patience that Le'Veon had with all that, where he's still standing up for the team. I mean, you would think that after the way that he was kind of using the offense and not, obviously not used properly, didn't use him out of the backfield trying to, get some pass, whatever the case may be, he handled that like a true pro. And Jamal coming out and bashing the team, to have somebody step up and say enough of the bullshit, and for that to be Le'Veon, it was surprising to say the least, and I applaud him, man. I mean, look, that's if you want to take over a leadership position on a team, that's a nice way to do it. I mean, you want to show that you're all in, speak out publicly against the guy who's bashing your coach and your front office and your owner and all that stuff, and basically call him a clown. I love it, and they went back and forth, and Le'Veon said noted, whatever, see you week 14 or whatever it was, and I hope Le'Veon trucks him and runs him over. Look, I love Jamal when he was here, but he's not a Jet anymore, so he can get that smoke just like anyone else. I hope Le'Veon stiff arms him through the freaking turf.
Yeah, until we release Le'Veon next year.
Absolutely, Jay. I love that.
Yeah, man. So, I know that's leadership right there. It's interesting to me, the way that people. Yeah.
Yo, Jay, we got to wrap up, man. We only do 2 hours, man. So we got, what is it, NYSF breaks and NYSF bets?
All that, man. All that. No need to promote tonight. I got my time in tonight. So you guys have a good night, and we'll catch up next Tuesday.
Always a pleasure, brother.
Always.
Man. Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? It's just, Tyrone Johnson 54 on Twitter. Everything else is everything else, man. Love you guys. You know what we do. Prime time.
At Talk Jets Radio, Instagram and YouTube. We'll be posting a lot of videos with training camp starting up again now, so yeah, definitely check that out.
Yeah, Let's Talk Jets Radio on YouTube. Check out njmmashop.com, too. We're raising money for the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And that's it. We lasted 2 hours, no software issues. We got to celebrate that one of these days. And we'll talk to everybody next Tuesday.
See you guys later.
All right, guys, we good, brothers.